If you're a Canadian business owner, especially if you run a small or a mid-sized company, you're probably feeling this
Yes.
paradox right now.
Sure.
On one hand, you hear this nonstop noise, right? AI is
Yeah.
changing everything, everyone's using it, you're already behind.
Yeah, the hype is deafening.
Exactly. But then on the other hand, you look around at your actual peers,
Mm.
your local competitors, the five-person accounting firm down the street,
Mm.
and you just don't see these massive automation projects. So it's really hard to tell what's real and what's just, Silicon Valley chatter.
It is, and that clarity is so crucial because Canada is in such a strange space with AI.
How so?
Well, we're a genuine global leader in AI research and talent. We have incredible universities, amazing minds coming out of them.
Right.
But we often lag, and sometimes we lag pretty significantly when it comes to actually applying that talent in business, especially in the small and medium-sized business world.
Okay, so let's unpack that with some simple high-level numbers.
Okay.
Just for Canadian businesses, where do we actually stand right now?
Okay, let's start with the big number. Based on the latest data we have from the second quarter of 2025, only 12.2% of Canadian businesses have integrated AI for producing goods or delivering services.
12%. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really small, especially compared to the headlines.
It is small, but here's the key takeaway right away. That means 88% of your direct competition is still on the sidelines.
So there's a real window of opportunity.
A huge window. And here's the other piece of that. That 12.2% figure, it's double what it was just a year before. It was 6.1%.
Okay, so it's accelerating.
Fast.
It's accelerating very rapidly, even if the total number still looks low.
So that's the Canadian picture. How does that 12% stack up globally? Are we leading the pack or following?
We're definitely following, yeah.
Sure.
When you compare us to our peers, Canada is still lagging.
Mm.
For instance, in some 2021 data, our adoption rate was below the OECD average. That put us at around 20th among OECD countries as recently as 2023, so we have some ground to make up. And what about generative AI, the stuff everyone's actually talking about, like ChatGPT?
The numbers drop even further there. Only about 9% of all Canadian businesses were using Gen AI in the first quarter of 2024.
9%. Okay, that really shows the gap between the hype and the reality on the ground.
It really does.
So if I run a small business,
Yeah.
how does my size impact my chances of being in that 12% club?
It matters a lot, a whole lot. See, SMEs, small and medium enterprises, they make up 99.7% of all employers in Canada.
The vast majority.
Exactly. But the larger businesses, say over 100 employees, they're nearly twice as likely to adopt Gen AI as a small business with, 1 to 99 employees.
So the big guys are moving faster.
They are. But if you're a small business owner listening, the key message is this. Most companies, just like yours, are still figuring this out. The race is just getting started.
Okay, so the sectoral divide. For someone running, say, a local service company, who are the pioneers, who's actually in that 12%?
The leaders, the vanguard sectors, are pretty much all defined by data. They have digital inputs and digital outputs.
Makes sense.
So the top three are information and cultural industries at about 35.6%. Then you've got professional, scientific, and technical services at 31.7%.
Whoa, that professional services number is huge. And it jumped, didn't it?
Massive jump. It nearly tripled its adoption rate in just 1 year. And then rounding out the top three is finance and insurance at 30.6%.
So what are they actually doing? Like, what tools are they using?
They're using tools to get value from their data instantly. So in finance, for example, the most common uses are text analytics and virtual agents.
Okay, stop there. Let's simplify text analytics for someone who isn't technical. What is that?
Good question. It's basically software that can read and understand thousands of documents, customer emails, insurance claims, contracts in seconds. It pulls out key trends or risks or specific clauses.
So it's saving hours of manual reading.
Exactly. And virtual agents, chatbots, are used by about 35% of those firms to give customers instant answers, 204/7.
Right. So those are the data-heavy leaders. What about the more traditional physical world sectors?
Yeah, those are our late adopters. At the very bottom of the list, you find accommodation and food services with only 1.5% adoption.
1.5%, that's barely anything.
Barely. And right
Yeah.
there with them are sectors like agriculture, transportation, and warehousing. They're all sitting at around 1.8%.
And the main reason is the physical nature of the work, the hardware cost.
That's the key difference. The leading industries can just add AI as a software feature. The lagging ones often need a big investment in hardware, in robotics, to digitize physical work.
But is there a way around that? I mean, if I run a small manufacturing shop, I can't afford $1 million robot.
Well, this is where things are getting interesting. We're seeing a shift. Instead of that huge upfront cost, smaller manufacturers are starting to lease AI-integrated robots.
Lease them.
Exactly. For simple, repetitive jobs like quality control checks on an assembly line or basic assembly, it democratizes access, It brings physical AI into reach without that crippling capital cost.
That's a game changer. Okay, so that's the who. Let's talk about the why.
Yeah.
What's driving this, and what's the biggest thing holding people back right now?
The economic drive is it's enormous. Gen AI could add up to $187 billion to the Canadian economy every year by 2030.
Okay, that's a huge number.
It is. And here's the part for your audience. Up to $100 billion of that value could be realized by SMEs.
$100 billion for small and mid-sized companies. That's not just for the big banks.
Not at all. And the core gain isn't just money, it's time, productivity. Projections show Gen AI could save the average Canadian worker up to 125 hours a year.
125 hours. That's what, half an hour every single workday?
That's it. It's like getting 3 full work weeks back. And the businesses that are adopting it are seeing results. There's a near universal benefit rate of 97%, and they see the improvement almost right away.
Okay, if the business case is so strong, 125 hours saved, a 97% success rate, then why on earth is the #1 barrier for non-adopters a lack of perceived need? That just doesn't add up.
It's because they're missing the simple, low-hanging fruit. They hear AI, and they think it has to be this complex, expensive, custom-built thing.
Not a simple tool.
Right. They're overlooking the things that save 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. They don't realize that Gen AI can draft a quick reply to a customer email or summarize their meeting notes or write the first draft of a marketing post. They're seeing a giant mountain, not the easy first step.
So it's an awareness gap, and I'm guessing that's made worse by the talent issue.
Absolutely. The really small businesses, the micro businesses, they rely almost exclusively on their existing staff for this stuff. About 72% do. They can't just go out and hire a chief AI officer.
Of course not.
And here's the really troubling part. Nearly half of the employees who are using AI tools at work right now say they've received 0 training on it from their employer.
No training at all. That sounds risky.
It creates a huge risk factor. And owners feel it. They worry about legal compliance, data security, and public trust in AI is still pretty low in Canada, only about 31%.
So it's a confidence problem.
It's a confidence and time problem, even more than a budget one. Most owners aren't actively refusing AI. They're unsure where to start, and they're worried about the risk.
That sets the stage perfectly. So let's look forward. What are the big trends that are going to simplify this for people?
Okay, trend number 1 is what I'd call AI inside everything. Generative AI is becoming a true democratizer.
What do you mean by that?
It means you don't need a separate, dedicated AI platform anymore. The AI is showing up as a feature inside the software you already use and pay for.
So I don't need to buy a whole new thing. I just need to turn on a new feature in my CRM or my accounting software.
Precisely. Look for those AI inside buttons. That's why it's mostly augmenting human work, not replacing it. About 69% of users say it's to accelerate content creation, 46% to automate tasks. Only 13% cite job replacement.
Okay, that's a big one. What's trend number 2?
The automation of mundane back-office tasks. Everyone thinks about customer service chatbots, and that's part of it, but it's moving heavily into internal support activities.
Like what?
Think about procurement, HR, firm infrastructure. AI can help HR draft employee communications. It can summarize a long vendor contract for your procurement person. Some Canadian banks are already using it to provide financial insights right in your banking app. It's the boring stuff that eats up time.
Trend 3 sounds like it tackles the cost barrier we talked about, this AI compute gap.
It does. For a while, Canada was lagging in having enough high-performance computing power here at home. That made it really expensive for Canadian companies to run their own specialized AI models.
So we had to rely on foreign infrastructure.
We did. But the government is responding with the multi-billion-dollar Canadian sovereign AI compute strategy, and part of that is the AI Compute Access Fund, which is designed to help businesses buy that compute power.
What does that mean for me, a small business owner? It sounds a bit abstract.
It means 2 things for you. First, the cost to access serious customized AI is going to come down probably in the next year or 2. And second, because that infrastructure is being built here, it should help ease some of those data security and privacy worries.
Okay, that's a big deal. And the final trend, the rules and regulations.
Trend 4 is that regulatory clarity is coming, and Canada is actually leading the way on this. We have the Artificial Intelligence and Data Act, or ADA, and a voluntary code of conduct.
And this is a good thing.
It is, because it signals that the rules of the road around data security and responsible use are getting clearer. That framework is designed to build public trust, which in turn makes it safer and easier for small business to adopt these tools with confidence.
Okay, let's tie all of this together. The low adoption numbers, the fast acceleration, the barriers, these new trends. What does it all mean for a small business owner in Canada today?
I think the opportunity is really clear because overall adoption is still low. At that 12.2%, you have a genuine window to get a simple, low-risk competitive advantage right now.
You don't have to be a pioneer, just slightly ahead of the curve.
You just have to be slightly ahead of your peers who are still stuck on that lack of perceived need.
But let me play devil's advocate. If I'm doing okay, I have 5 employees, my profit margin is good. Is the risk of not doing anything really that high?
I think the risk is substantial, yeah, because that adoption rate is doubling every year. If you ignore it completely, you risk falling behind on productivity and, just as importantly, on customer service expectations. A small business can't afford to just give up 125 hours per employee per year.
So the strategy isn't to build something revolutionary. It's to automate the boring stuff.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't need a custom solution. You don't need a big IT team. You just need to focus on what we call no regrets investments.
No regrets. I like that.
Simple, reliable automation that improves productivity and cuts down on repetitive tasks. Automate the most tedious part of your day first.
Focus on action over ambition. You don't need to rebuild. You just need a simple plan for the next 6 to 12 months.
You've got it.
Okay, so to help you start that plan, let's run through a quick action checklist. 3 concrete things you can do starting tomorrow.
Let's do it.
First, identify your time sinks. Literally, take out a piece of paper and write down your top 3 most repetitive tasks. Where would saving 10 minutes, a few times a day, make the biggest difference?
If it's boring and you do it over and over, it's a perfect candidate.
Second, check for AI inside. Look really closely at the software you already pay for. Your bank, your CRM, your booking system. Many of them already have AI features built in. Start there. The risk and cost are minimal.
You might already have the tools you need.
Third, peer consultation. Talk to your accountant, your business advisor, or just other owners in your industry. Ask them specifically what low-risk tools they're using to deal with cost pressures. Just copy what's already working for someone like you.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
And a fourth bonus one. Pilot one task. Just test one small, low-risk automation in the next 30 days. Use a free tool to summarize meeting notes or draft simple emails. Prove the concept to yourself and build your confidence.
And that leads back to the main point. We said the #1 reason Canadian SMEs aren't adopting AI is a lack of perceived need. Well, if AI is set to save the average Canadian worker 125 hours a year, that's 3 full work weeks. The question I think you should mull over is this. What could you actually accomplish in your business if you got those 125 extra hours back this year?